Welcome everybody to Rad Pod and Chill, and the moment that the news breaks that the January 6th committee has just released its final report on the effort to overturn
Well,
the
if you guys
2020
could all
election.
stand by while we go read that, we'll be right back.
We'll be back. Hold on.
You know what's upsetting? You know what's really upsetting? I just woke up from a very nice nap because I don't get to do that very often. And it's kind of like chilly in LA right now. So it was cozy and nice. And I have to write all night. I'm going to write a piece for Byline Supplement that I'm very excited about. However, I had hoped to get in a Leslie Howard and Ingrid Bergman film, Intermezzo. And now I can't. So somewhere in between writing and staying up all night and investigating, I want to watch my movies because I would not be an interesting person if I did not also incorporate music and film and stuff like that into my life. So I'm a little bit
I think
tragic.
more people should incorporate naps into their lives.
Actually, I can't quote you, Hi-Fi. I won't and I shan't. But Hi-Fi's advice whenever I'm like kind of fretting is always to take a nap. So yeah, and other nefarious activities. Anyway, I'm so happy to be here. So much. I have a lot of that I want to talk about looking back on 2022. I'm sure you guys have a lot of things on your mind. I definitely want to start with gratitude. A lot of people carried me this year. It's easy to focus on the negative because the work that we do attracts horrible people. But so many people carried me, and I want to start there. I just want to say thank you. And the two gentlemen beside me are among the people who did a lot of the heavy lifting emotionally with me this year. So just want to say thanks. Thanks, yo.
You're welcome. I guess.
You're welcome to me. Back at you.
You're right.
Hello,
emotional support group.
I know.
My Zoom was pretty therapy-like today.
Was it? Oh, that's so good.
Yeah. Look, I mean, it's nuts. It wears on you. I mean, the things we talked about was everyone's mental health. Like, how's everybody doing? It's just weird to have these like psychotic people just running around saying this horrible shit all the time, right?
All the time.
So it's our what we try and do is make you not feel quite as insane, right?
Yeah, right.
That's the goal. Is hey, no, this really is bananas, and it ain't just you.
It does, and also for me, I think one of the most important things I did was watch that and dissect that documentary from the Philippines this year, because it just, when you see the actual network of how this works, and we know that the lowest rung of the terrorists, who might be the loudest, but they're the least paid, and really you can almost disregard them at this point because it's so clear that the influencers and the chief architects of online harms and trauma directed at people doing the work of democracy, it's definitely just like a global framework everybody should use. It's like this stuff, these harms, they're not real. I know it affects people in the real world. I know it has real world impacts, but they're just conceived of as ways to try to silence people. So I've been encouraging people in the last few months to get louder, stay loud, get loud, drown out the trauma merchants and the voices of negativity. Again, Jim, we've seen what Musk has done to Twitter by platforming.
is you can't win on Twitter. You're never going to win. When you do, and you have the wrong message, they'll get rid of you immediately. Frankly, that's what happened to me. I was beating them at their own game, and they couldn't handle it. So, yes, be louder, but do it smartly, because just being loud in an environment like Twitter is, a recipe for getting a bunch of horrible shit thrown at you these days, unfortunately. I don't. Hold on one sec. I'll be done. And then I am just increasingly concerned that it's now overtly a radicalization engine. It's been used to promote literal Nazi propaganda over and over and over again from the top. But we've already settled back down into normalizing it, right? It's all, fucking Musk put a poll up and said he was going to step down as CEO, and he's just ignoring it. He's like, oh, maybe we're not getting guys. Later, I'll do it.
He's a chaos agent.
We've just lost the ability to not normalize things.
That's right? True.
This guy just does not care. He will just say anything, and it's just like Trump. We've gotten used to, as a society, allowing these liars, these propagandists, these people who have no conscience and have no shame, to rule the rest of us.
Yeah.
And I'm starting to be at the point where it's like, maybe it's going to take some kind of revolution to fucking break this thing down, because right now it's been 2 years since these people ransacked our fucking capital, and they've got a couple of problems on charges.
I haven't heard Eric Prince's name one goddamn time.
Yeah. Oh, I did. I heard it on American Psyop. Wes Clark said it on American Psyop. That was good.
Yeah. Or Peter Thiel, for that matter, right? I mean,
yeah.
The only if Peter Thiel was tweeting, it would be Elmo times a billion. But Peter Thiel's smarter than Elmo is.
You know who is tweeting though? Joe Lonsdale.
Yeah. So speaking of Russian propagandists and major Russian TV propagandists, I noticed today the stark parallels and similarities between Russia's major TV propagandist, the main one, Hi-Fi, how do you pronounce his last name? I'll butcher it. Soloviev. And Trump. Because whenever somebody posts video of Trump, I always look at it on mute and I watch the body language. I don't want to hear the voice, You always can see the transcript if there's something you need to see.
You bought all his cards though, right?
But no. But what's interesting though is the two of them are so similar when you put them side by side, and then the State Department, the U.S. State Department, just issued a warning about, say it again, Hi-Fi. Soloviev. We should probably pull it up, because I put their two faces side. I put their two faces side by side. They look very strong, like the strong men look. But it was very interesting to see the similarities between the two of them. And I thought, wow, these are two of the Kremlin's top TV propagandists, both Trump and the main guy in Russia. And then the State Department's warning listed out all the things that this man was saying as disinformation. And I thought the State Department could have issued the exact same thing side by side with warnings about things that Trump has said. What was interesting about the major Russian TV propagandist is he used to be a television journalist. He used to actually have credibility. And then he flipped. And then it's been straight Kremlin propaganda ever since. And how many times have we heard that story of somebody who used to be a Democrat or used to be this, and then one day they emerge as the spokesperson for the Kremlin. Interesting.
Yeah, well, we got a lot of that going on right now, right?
Yeah.
We got fucking Elmo out there, like literally doing actual Kremlin propaganda all the time.
Yeah.
The other interesting comparison is flabby Hitler and Mussolini.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Mussolini, there is a a strong man like moron look that for some reason
I came up with a phrase for this earlier today.
He did.
And the phrase for that is the physiognomy of the brute.
Yes.
Because that is what these
brilliant, right?
That is what these people
brilliant.
Are. They're brute. They're brutish.
Physiognomy of the brute.
Isn't it great?
It's brutes, man. They look like gorillas.
But I was reflecting back on the art of war from the 5th century BC, and the goal is for the weak to present themselves as strong and to use deception. And I was thinking that is part of the game. So let's get back to brass tacks here. Today, Hi-Fi and I interviewed Martin Scheel, retired IRS criminal investigator. He's been analyzing the summary related to Trump's tax documents. And he says it appears that Trump came into the run up to the presidency broke. Not his words. He was more articulate than that. But in hoc, in the hole, nothing he prepared, nothing he presented himself to be. Not shocking to this group, not shocking to anybody who investigates this stuff. But Marty was saying, what is the quid to the pro? Like, what is the quid to the pro? When you're somebody who's coming in and you're showing a bunch of losses, but you're trying to pretend, that you're some, art of the deal big shot, which obviously Tony Schwartz explained art of the deal was fiction. What really is happening when you become installed as the president? What's really going on? And he immediately went to the inauguration where people had to cough up $1 million to have a candlelight dinner with Mein Trump.
Yeah, I mean, he got $120 million or something for his inaugural, and had like 3 doors down was the head, and like a guy who was using like drumsticks on a piano or something like that. Like it wasn't even like America's Got Talent like level.
Do you remember how they couldn't get anybody to perform at the inauguration?
That's what I'm saying. They had to get 3 doors down, and like and some I don't know. Like it was very, very sad, and they somehow claimed to have spent $120 million when Obama had fucking Beyonce, and like the whole thing, like huge for $5 million, right?
Yeah, right.
Where'd the 115 go? Where'd the 115 go? I mean, the whole thing was a fucking grift. Mike Flynn is on the phone during the inauguration, telling nuclear secrets to the fucking Saudis with Russian technology at the inaugurations with Bernie Carrot. The whole thing was just
I absolutely have to just go back into the time machine, because I remember he couldn't get anybody to play. I remember trying to free the inaugural horses because they were making some horses perform. And I'm like, no, we need to free the inaugural horses. It was Toby Keith finally steps up, right? And this was the very beginning of the 24/7 investigations for me. Because I'm like, Toby Keith, okay, what kind of fraud did he get into? If you typed in 2016 when this was going on, or early 2017, Toby Keith fraud or Toby Keith scam, you'll find out that he had got himself into a very bad bar licensing deal and was on the hook for like hundreds of millions of dollars. And the people who he'd gone into business with looked like pretty nefarious characters. And in Arizona, there was some really great reporting done on all of this, how they just became like you know, these bars with his name were actually just like empty, vacant, like, you know, storefronts, and it was a hot mess. No, nobody in the media reported that. Nobody reported that. It was just like, oh, Toby Keith's going to play the inauguration. That was among the beginning signs for me of how deep and vast the media was going to be failing us, which they have proven to do for the past 6 years, which is why I'm very excited about the work that we do and the work that Byline does, because, you know, as Jim said on his film, on your wonderful film about QAnon, at one point when you were like, you know, it's not like any of this stuff was like secret. You just Google it. You just fucking Google it. It's like, you know, God, you know, Google this stuff, man.
You know what I think the biggest... Hold on.
I was waiting for High Five because we have this finger
about all this stuff.
What's that, High Five?
All this stuff we're you know, all this stuff we're talking about, like the big story of the year and just kind of a year-end wrap up, and I just, people still don't get it. Like, I think a lot of our viewers are starting to get it. You know, we're at war.
Definitely.
Right?
Yeah.
But I don't think the general public is getting it, and I'm not sure how to
There's
make them get it.
couple reasons for that. It's what Ruth was saying about memory repression being a sign of, you know, early stages of autocracy, and where it becomes impolite to bring up things like, you know, the attempt to overthrow the government and the violence that's occurring due to stochastic terrorism. And so that's part of it. The other part of it is that it does appear that there are a lot of people in this country that just prefer to get their news from the network studios, and that's just going to be good enough for them. And those network studios, unfortunately, are the network news tied to the network studios are unfortunately led often by the business elites who have no interest in defying or fighting the authoritarians. They seem to prefer to be in bed with them, as we learned from Jason Stanley. So I think those are a couple of things. Jim, I'm sure you have thoughts on that.
Look, the entire thing is about control of information. It's all that this whole thing is about, controlling information. The problem is they have more tools than we do. They're more motivated than we are. They're more organized than we are. And they managed to get all the way to the combination of creating and influencing the richest man in the world to take over the most important communication platform in the world. If you want, you know, if you're talking about elites and fucking politicians and all the people who have influence,
news, celebrities,
platform on the planet, right? It ain't Facebook in terms of size, but in terms of influence, it's much bigger. And it was literally taken over by a South African immigrant who's trying to recreate apartheid in the United States. Let's be, you know, super fucking clear. And he got co-opted by you know, foreign influence. Let's make.
Well, he's been co-opted since.
In terms of being,
he's been co-opted since the PayPal Bratva, dude.
But listen, he's been co-opted since he got brought up by his Nazi dad. You know, let's be honest. His you know, dude grew up in a whites only school in an elite situation, and his dad is a fucking psycho who you know, had 2 kids with his own stepdaughter. Like, that family is messed up. You didn't know that?
Yeah, I know that. It just, every time I hear it, it makes me fucking.
Who he raised from the age of 8. I mean, it's not. Anyway, it's a bad, not healthy situation. Dude came over. They moved to Canada for a little while because it's easier than to get into the United States. So they crossed over the Canadian border, and today he's out there complaining about the border problem, right? Literally today.
What was that crazy?
Jumping on
what
the
was that crazy
immigration front.
shit his grandpa was involved in up in Canada? Like, didn't he get in trouble? Technocracy or some crazy shit?
There's a lot of like that, whatever.
So I think
these people have been nuts.
The point is that this guy is not a good actor. He has never been a good actor. His whole story about himself is a lie. His education is a lie. He's lied about all of his companies. Lie, and he somehow ends up at the head of the town square doing Nazi memes to the rest of us. That's war. That's literal war.
That's war.
And we do need to think of it that way. And
that's right.
Obviously
so let's quote Ruth Ben-Ghiat, who tweeted, "Musk is a pro-Kremlin chaos agent and troll. With his hate views, tech fetish, and racist obsessions with demographics, it was inevitable he would become a Putin puppet." That is Ruth Ben-Ghiat, famous historian of Italian fascism, author of Strongmen. She studies this, she knows this, and honestly, I wrote about this today. Sometimes I think of if Ruth could be in the room with all these guys, I picture like Bruce Lee beating back a gang of thugs, because she's just so incredibly smart. She sees right through them. And what is among the biggest fascist fears? Strong, intelligent women, which is why misogyny, I believe, is autocracy's gateway drug. Somebody like Ruth, who can tell you what it is and see it, and she does. She calls him out, and she is not pulling any punches at all anymore. She's always been elegant, eloquent. No, she's like, no, he is a pro-Kremlin chaos agent and troll. That's Ruth. So if you don't believe Jim and you don't believe Hi-Fi and you don't believe me, believe Ruth, because she has the blueprint.
You're on TV and shit.
she has the blueprint. She has the blueprint for this.
I'm not gonna lie. I've always found intelligent, strong women kind of a turn on. So I don't know what that says about people, but yeah.
It says anyway, that she was probably raised by a wonderful mother.
Piss off, man. Oh yeah, my mom's family runs the family. It's kind of crazy, but anyway.
It's a matriarchy, right? You've talked to me about that.
Oh yeah. Well, she's got 4 sisters, so you have 5 women in the same house.
Yeah.
No man stands a chance.
That's a lot of power.
Yeah. I single child, single mom. Women have always been my best friends. I mean, it's not even so much that I like women. It's just that I really don't like dudes. I really like almost all of the dudes out there.
Dudes are okay as long as they're being stupid and funny.
I just don't. No, they're crude and stupid, and
that's why they're funny, because they're crude.
Don't like them. Sorry, guys.
Why don't we?
I'm still making fart jokes, dude. I don't care.
Why don't we just cut that in post? So
Jim's got all serious look on his face.
So
I'm understand this. I make no mistake about it.
I do have a couple things I want to say. Dave Troy just wrote a lovely year-end roundup. He's worried about all the same things that we're worried about, but I do think it's important to mark some of the amazing things that happened this year. First African-American woman Supreme Court justice. That's freaking beautiful.
Huge.
There's a lot of beautiful things. There was a rebuke of Trumpism. We saw that in the midterms. Roe v. Wade happened, the reversal, which was awful, but it did bring people to the polls. So that was good. Trump-backed candidates, many of them got, didn't make it. That's important. There's a number of things I think it's important to acknowledge, because we do have a hell of a fight ahead of us in 2023, but we rarely take, I think, enough time to celebrate the victories, because they feel so short-lived because of the continual, desire to create destabilization, the continual chaos. But
the fire hose, right?
Yeah,
the fire hose to exhaust you.
That's right. But I did take a few notes of things that I think are important to note. Jim, I think you and I have different takeaways on January 6th committee. I think that, yes, they failed to go after the network, and but I think that Hi-Fi and I were talking about it. They did land enough punches to, I think, have an impact. And certainly, I do think that we saw a result of that in the midterms.
Okay, I'm gonna have to respond to that.
Yeah, no, I know. That's why I brought it up, because I am very.
And then I'm gonna counterpoint and prove you both right, and both wrong.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. No, they, in my opinion, misled the American people, and they did it for political reasons. When after the first hearing, I was like, shit, they know what they're doing. Great. They knew how to tell a story. Yeah. They were nailing Donald Trump to the ground. After the first two, I was like, okay, wow, they're really getting Trump good. After the first half, I was like, okay, well, maybe the whole first half was about Trump, and now they're going to fucking indict him, and then they're going to do the rest with everyone else. Nope. They just came back and did the same fucking thing all over again. And the reality is we didn't need that. What we needed was an expansion of the story so that people could understand the psychological components of this, the foreign components of this, the cultic components of this, the fact that the Pentagon was compromised. Instead, the fucking report says that the Pentagon was worried that Donald Trump was going to do something. That is a lie. That is a lie that they bought hook, line, and sinker from the people at the fucking Pentagon who helped make sure 1/6 could happen. So I'm not satisfied with that. I am not satisfied with the fact that they didn't land any punches on Mike Flynn, despite the fact that Mike Flynn, you read his fucking transcript, they know everything. They're like, do you know about Kelly Meggs? Do you know about this person? Do you know about this very specific detail? Did you speak to Rudy Giuliani on this particular evening? They fucking know this stuff. And just because Mike Flynn is too much of a traitor to say anything but the fifth, they're going to ignore it. They're going to just wipe it away. Not even make a referral, right? At least not that I know of. Maybe it's in the report. I don't fucking know. But it wasn't in the.
Did they ask anything about?
It wasn't. I'm not done ranting. It was not in the 160-page executive summary. Like, I'm sorry, but not good enough. And they did it because Liz Cheney put that pressure on them, and they caved to it. And that's the problem I have. The problem is not that they got it wrong. If they got it wrong, that'd be one thing. But they're covering up for the Pentagon. They're covering up for the Capitol Police. And they allowed Liz Cheney to make it all about her political opponent instead of the truth. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
Well, maybe we'll have Liz Cheney on the show.
Hold on. What she has to say. Ooh, that'd be cool.
Yeah. I mean, I
anything about QAnon? Did they talk about QAnon as a force behind the insurrection?
Let's read the report. They made criminal referrals about, regarding Trump and others. And let's read the report.
Yeah, see what we can others.
Yeah, no, I know. Yeah, I know.
I'm going to throw shit at the goddamn screen. Others.
Others. Shout out to us for making footnote 20, though. I think it's us. I have to see what the Secret Service thing is.
Are you talking about warning people to stay at home? Yeah.
Yeah. You think it's some of the memes we made?
I don't know, but I mean, you're going to get me going again, because they said that they heard on January 5th that Antifa was telling people not to go. No, that started
back in December.
In December.
Yeah. Right.
We were fucking warning people from the get. As soon as that goddamn tweet went out from Trump, as soon as Ron Watkins starts going, hey, I'm going to pay people to go, derp. It was not confusing. It was not hard to figure out. And I'm not happy with the retrofitted ahistorical political grandstanding.
Do you think Ron remembers me sliding into his DMs and screaming at him about needing that dirty money?
I learned a lot from the January 6th committee. The only reason we're able to have this conversation is because we live in a country that actually has the ability to do the type of work that they did. And no, it's not everything. And I never thought that it would be. And maybe that's just me, having set the bar intentionally low in my head, so I'm not disappointed. But I think more shall be revealed, and I am not giving up yet. And I believe that we will know in 2023 if we are still a country with rule of law. That is what we will find out.
Yeah, I mean, we keep saying that every
year. I know, but I also knew this was going to be a long grind. I knew it was going to be a long grind.
How many times did you tell me to be patient throughout this whole freaking adventure, Jim? How many times?
0.
At least 5 or 6.
No, I did not. I'm sorry. Maybe you got me. Maybe I was super high or something. I don't know. But typically, patience and I are not on speaking terms.
Jim and I
don't know why I would tell somebody else to be patient.
I only created this show and did this with you guys because Jim said we're going to win, and I still think we're going to win. I don't know how, but I think we're going to do it, and I do think it all depends on whether or not we are a rule of law country. So let us go back to some of the milestones. We also saw. Let's talk about some of the good stuff in 2022. Iranian women fighting back. That's a big deal. The horrible war in Ukraine and watching the Ukrainian people fight that war, and the people that we've met and had on this show. I feel like we're going to know. I feel like that ambiguity that we were talking about, where people don't quite know or get it. I think it's going to be very easy to determine who the heroes are. Zelensky's speech yesterday, he said something so incredibly important when he talked about the way the Russian people can be free is by beating the Kremlin in their minds. He acknowledged the information war. That was so incredibly important because not enough leaders are acknowledging the information war. So
well, I mean, he was engaging in the information war by
he was
being here.
Listen, that whole day was. I called it. I had a hashtag beautiful psyop. Like the whole thing was amazing. Like that was a psyop, and it was gorgeous. Like that is what that is how you fight an information war. Is you have a better high five, Jesus. You have a better message. that you just give me a sec. You have a better message than your opponent, and you deliver it in a stronger way. And we used the goddamn tools that we had available. The White House used the tools. Zelensky used the tools, and I thought it was amazing. The main thing was it's separate, and the reason I'm bringing this up is it separated the traitors from the people who wanted, who even have their fingernails still remaining on, planet Earth.
Absolutely.
Right? Absolutely. Like Mitch McConnell, Moscow Mitch is out there on the floor praising Ukraine. Fucking McCarthy had a Ukraine flag in his fucking thing. You gotta, that pushes people into showing who they are, and that is a good thing. And yes, it's a psyop, but it's perfectly ethical and glorious in its execution.
I think again, heroic. All the things that the fifth column in America are not, Zelensky is. Just
that's why they hate him so much. But
I only have one. I only have one suggestion out of the entire thing, and this was just a personal thing. It would have been nice if Biden had greeted him while wearing a suit, and then when they came out to talk, both he and Biden had like the war sweaters and the camis and the boots on.
Can you imagine what they would have done to Biden if he came out in fucking camo?
I know what hi-fi's. I know where he's going. I know where he's going.
I'm saying like you know how Zelensky's got like the olive khakis and the war sweater.
Yeah.
Like that look. Yeah. So put Biden in that, but like put him in black.
No, they would. They would destroy him.
Hard.
It would be worse than Dukakis in the tank.
Dukakis? Did you just mention Dukakis?
Nobody remembers Dukakis in the tank? Oh my God! That's what killed his entire campaign. Was Dukakis? Dukakis put a fucking helmet on. This is the 88. Dukakis put a helmet on his fucking head and took a ride around in the tank and looked like a big fucking dork, and the Republicans ate him for breakfast. And that was the end of Dukakis.
Yeah, he shouldn't have worn the helmet.
He shouldn't
have gotten in the tank.
The good old days.
Yeah. That was a bad.
Hey, remember they got Howard Dean for a yeehaw.
That just backfired.
Remember Howard Dean's yeehaw moment that like totally tanked him?
Yeah, what the fuck? I didn't understand that.
Weird psyops, dude. Politics, man. Politics.
Well, they grabbed that one sound, and it was it was a little bit of a weird sound, but when I listen back to it now, it just sounds so cute. It's just so quaint. Like
everything
compared to the bananas bullshit people say now, it's like, so what? You fucking said yeehaw.
I mean, we could list a whole litany of things. You can have President Obama's tan suit. You can have Mitt Romney's dog. You know,
that was funny.
Because they were making fun of Zelensky for his outfit because he didn't have a suit. So I said, what if he had a tan suit? How would you feel about that? So actually, let me HT to ham and cheese on Mastodon. Everybody should go to Mastodon. Fucking quit Twitter right now. It's a piece of shit.
Yeah, leave Twitter. Seriously, just leave.
But you don't have to like give up your account or any of that. I'm not saying like
just stop posting.
Just go build on Mastodon. It's great. It's like for the most part, people are really nice. You'll be surprised. You can say what you want and not get just completely crushed for it.
Yeah, Dave's got me on throttle because I was being naughty.
Stop.
Don't do that.
Stop.
Can't help myself.
Stop. I was on Mastodon today, and it was really nice to see a bunch of people I respect reporting on things that mattered. And alternately, Twitter, where I still have a big family who blocks like me, and we try to navigate it, there's a real despair because obviously no one's getting, many of the accounts don't get any traction. What's interesting is that something that I post that might get 1 like and 2 retweets, which is weird, will still have 1,800 views. So there's just all kinds of jacked up stuff going on. But
the metrics are a joke.
I run into people, particularly people who are like comedians, people who are used to just doing this as part of their daily entertainment, and they're depressed. Talk about mental health
Twitter
issues.
is designed to depress you. Like either you're going to participate in the things that are boosted artificially, and they are artificially boosted now.
Yeah.
Or you're gonna not have much engagement. Like it is fully engineered at this point. Like really, like they just started putting view counts, and fucking Elmo's the poll where he owned himself, and got fired and then ignored it, had 342 million views on it.
Yeah.
Now,
right.
I just have to say, imagine taking an L that big, right? 342 million people go, damn, you're a fucking idiot. Really? Did you do that? And then have the balls to show up the next day. How do you do that? Really, it's a 5-story L falls on your fucking head, and you just keep going. I don't get it.
The Supreme Court, there's been I don't know. I'm always looking for solutions to our Supreme Court.
Okay.
And one of the things that I keep stumbling past because people are promoting it is term limits. And I'm bringing that up only because Congress enshrined the Marriage Equality Act, which is another thing on the plus column as I'm like trying to think of the positives. And I'm thinking, we have Congress enshrining marriage equality. It would have been great if they could have gotten to, John Lewis's, voting rights, but they haven't at this point. But my fear is what our Supreme Court could potentially do when challenged by the state houses, which, as we know from David Pepper, are where all of the hits occur. And so I'm just thinking,
they're going to support this bullshit that allows the states to allocate their electors however the fuck they want, which means that the elections won't matter anymore, which means that we're done.
Are we talking about Moore versus Harper?
Yeah, I mean, they're going to do that, and it's going to create absolute chaos, and could potentially end our ability to have meaningful votes. So yes, we need a solution for it.
We do need a solution. I'm thinking, I don't understand why we cannot retroactively remove the Supreme Court justices that were placed there by a installed president with the help of the Russian military, who's inevitably going to end up either, I believe, in prison or fleeing to Moscow. Why should we still allow the Supreme Court appointee?
We shouldn't, but you can't just go around taking people away because there was another guy who hasn't been charged with anything. That's the problem.
That is the problem.
The justice system has not done a thing about any of these people.
None of it. Even the pardon fraud. There was so much pardon fraud. I looked up presidential pardon.
And we can't get after him because of the pardon. Oh, the fucking pardon, really?
We never had a president pardon people who were affiliated with mass murders. We never had a president pardon people who had, committed espionage and lied to the FBI. This was a whole other level.
We've had some pretty bad pardons.
Not like this, though. Not like this group.
Scooter Libby was no,
Well, it all started with
this
pardon.
Sketchy shit. Let's be honest.
It started with the pardon of Nixon.
But it wasn't
Roger Stone.
Bannon, Roger Stone, and Mike Flynn.
The worst. The worst.
That is it.
They tried to overthrow our government.
The worst.
Right.
The worst.
How do people not remember that?
I feel
what
that.
The fuck?
But which is why I keep saying we can't none of this is going to get fixed unless we go back and look at 2016 and have a reckoning.
Yes.
The information is all there. We know what happened. The fucking election was stolen by traitors to the United States on behalf of the Russians.
Yeah.
It's information that we have, and if we don't follow through on that, the 4 years of damage that was done by the puppet they put in there is just going to stay, and it's going to become normalized as if it's just fine to
and
have.
The next time they're going to win.
Well, right. And they're going to know that, when you're in there, you better fucking make sure that you stay, right? Don't wait.
He tried.
Don't wait until the stupid election day.
He tried. Trump tried to stay. Oh my God.
He sure fucking did.
So
he tried.
I'm seeing all these headlines that the January 6th committee released final report.
Yeah.
Gal dropped it in chat, but I don't see it on their website. Does anybody have a link to the final report? I'm not seeing it on the J6 committee site.
Are you not going to look at the report?
we both want to do speed reads.
No, you're not going to do that in the next 15 minutes. It's okay. It's okay. We have 15 minutes.
No, I just want to know where to download it. So after
I'm sure. High five. This is an awesome task that I'm absolutely certain you're going to be able to solve.
It's so funny.
Only because of the confidence that I have in your incredible hacking abilities.
You know what cracks me up?
I believe that you'll be able to find the 845-page report.
Here's the thing. We are among the tiny fraction of people who will actually read every single footnote. It's of course I can't wait to jump off, but and get to reading.
Wow.
But first,
I'm this one. I'm me diving into it is pointless. There's going to be a lot of people doing it. Just wait.
Oh yeah, no, I have to read it, immediately. But I'm actually writing a story that I'm very excited about. That's going to run Saturday in Byline Supplement, and I just want to say that it has to do with food. So that's going to be my tease. Make sure people read it. Yeah, food. I'll tell you guys. Yes. But of course, with
food is good. I like food.
Yeah. But it's not going to be just like about food. It's going to be like, it's going to have some history. It's going to have some cultural relevance. Gonna have some.
I'm getting distracted. I'm getting distracted by chat because apparently Roger Stone was selling Donald Trump dolls online today.
Of course.
And the only thing I want to ask is, were they real dolls?
Do they squeak when you touch them in particular places?
Were they real dolls? Never mind. Nobody knows what that is.
I'm just saying. So Roger Stone was selling dolls of Donald Trump?
Apparently.
Wow. Okay. Why don't you look up more on that and bring us the news on that?
Were the dolls
inflatable dolls?
No, were they official dolls? Like, was Donald Trump getting a cut?
I don't know. Roger Stone sells Trump dolls. This is funny.
I don't know if you want to type Roger Stone dolls in. I don't know.
No. That madam might come up, and that's
do not screen share during your.
Oh no! Oh, here it is. Hold on.
No, I don't want to see it. It's
propaganda.
It's like a little action.
Heidi, relax. Go.
Okay, hold on. Heidi, close your eyes. You don't want to see this. You don't want to see it, but it'll make you laugh. It'll make me and Jim laugh.
Oh, that's okay.
Who gave him those messed up veneers, man? Like the whole crew has them. Did you see that?
That's a thing. That's a thing of men of that age.
All of his teeth have increased in size. Like, did homeboy not? Did he not? It's like he's wearing a grill, but it's just ceramic. It's bizarre.
So I just want to remind you guys, because I know we talked about this.
Anyway.
I know we talked about this, but I just want to remind you
of
this again. Yeah. Trigger warning. In 2014, the FBI released a report that Russian investments in Silicon Valley and academia were a national security threat. So that report came out a decade ago. And here we are still confused over what's happening. Less confusion, please. I think it's pretty apparent.
It's not hard.
No, it's not hard.
It's really apparent.
I wrote a piece today about David Sachs being
I saw that. It's great.
Jackson Hinkle's show.
I saw that.
Jackson Hinkle is like his entire show is Putin ass kissing. That's all he fucking does is attack Zelensky and kiss Putin's ass. And he had David Sachs on. David Sachs is one of the most annoying and insufferable human beings you could ever listen to, because he is absolutely certain that he is the smartest person in the room, and all he's doing is just spouting like the dumbest college grade libertarian garbage out. And
he prefers to be.
What?
He prefers to be referred to by his full name, which is David B. Sachs, and the B does in fact stand for ball.
Listen, all I want to say is I watched that minute, Jim. I watched it. Blah 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 leftist. Blah 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 leftist.
He's a propagandist.
Blah blah blah. So he's
they're liars.
PayPal mafia, billionaire, anarcho-capitalist piece of shit. Who is the guy who? Hold on, dude. Jeez, who convinced Elon Musk with Peter Thiel to buy Twitter so that they could own the libs for $44 billion.
Yes. By the way, their name has been changed. They are no longer the PayPal Mafia. Mafia is kind of a cutesy, it's like a Goodfellas thing. No, they're the PayPal Bratva. And anytime you see them, they should be wearing running suits with gold chains, and their jackets open to their belly buttons like the Russian gangsters that they are.
Did you say Bratwurst?
No,
Bratva.
It's a Russian crime family.
It's a Russian crime family.
Bratwurst is good too. Bratwurst is the German members of the family. So I had a very funny exchange with Denver Riggleman today that I'm going to read to you.
Riggs.
Twitter, he wrote earlier today, Twitter seems to be growing as the world's largest catfishing website. The Ursula 53071286382736 of the world's are very active lately. And I wrote back, I get the middle-aged men pretending to be resistors, LOL. And he wrote back, that made me laugh. And I wrote back, me too, as I was typing it. Because I do. Pardon me if I'm cold, but it's been, it's been a long 6 years, and now anybody who slides into the DMs to tell me anything, I just go talk to Hi-Fi, and they never want to. It's hilarious.
Funny how that happens.
They never want to. Because Hi-Fi is going to know if you a real one or not. Number one, that's our network analyst right there. And number two, I'm just tired. You know what I'm saying? I'm tired. I'm tired of the game. And listening to American PSYOP, I realized two things. One, that it never ends. That once, somebody becomes ensnared in this kind of stuff, it just never stops. They will always try to keep on coming one way or another, which is difficult when you're an investigative sort, because it's it takes a lot of vetting, and it's just difficult. That's one thing. And the second thing is that it's very clear to me that some of the characters derive a sadistic pleasure from their psychological operations that they run on perfectly decent people. And I think there needs to be a law about that, quite frankly.
Yes, I will. I keep saying free speech. When you hurt somebody with your speech, it is not free.
Not free.
That other person is paying, literally paying for it, with their psychological health, with their money, with their like they're paying for it. It's not free speech when you hurt someone's feelings. You hurt them. You know, as juvenile as it sounds to say hurt someone's feelings, that's an actual harm that you're causing somebody, and it should not be legal for people to do that. It's not free speech to do that.
You should definitely not be allowed to be paid to do that. That's just that is you're putting a profit on something that causes damage.
Totally, yeah. That you can't put a make it illegal to have arguments with people, right? But when somebody is being compensated, right, to hurt somebody else, that is not free speech.
Absolutely, and we've seen enough of that.
I was just thinking how funny it was that like one of my favorite things I did this year is I was just messing around and people would like send me things and they're like, hey, what do you think about this? And like, you know, one of the things was this new Kyle Rittenhouse fundraiser he's doing, and that led to some shady political operative connected to Rand Paul. And but the other thing I did was I actually saw a disinformation researcher on Twitter. So I looked this guy up and I looked up his office over in London, and yeah, he's sharing
oh no,
he's sharing either lawyers or office space or something with a Russian guy who has a company in you know, the Bahamas. So that seems normal.
So I just am from the city by the bay. I'm originally from San Francisco. It was my dad's dream as a kid growing up during the war in Germany to make it to San Francisco, and he did, and he was able to live that dream. And somewhere around the age of like I don't know, I was some kind of tween. Journey's Infinity came out, and my mom's friend bought it for me. She said if she won in Reno, she would buy me that record. And I will always have a soft spot in my heart for Journey. Well, I just want to give a shout out to guitarist Neil Schon, who basically told the keyboardist married to you know, Trump's wacky pastor, grifter pastor, that he has no right to use Journey for politics. Basically, guitarist Neil Schon said, in no uncertain words, stop performing anything relating to our music for Donald Trump. And in fact, he went as far as to serve him with a cease and desist. I'm about to cry because that just warms my heart. We need more people to step up. As much as I miss Elton John on Twitter, I respect the shit out of him for saying enough of this Nazi crap. And God bless you, Neil Schon.
I mean,
enough of this Nazi crap.
Yeah, I mean, my favorite goes to Dee Snider.
Oh yeah, yeah,
who is unhappy with Mike Flynn co-opting "We're Not Going to Take It" to be the QAnon anthem.
Yeah,
he's not pleased about that.
Yeah,
so, you know.
Yeah.
Anyways,
I just think that it's important that we don't stop believing.
Oh boy, did you do that?
I actually, you know, I think one of my high points of this entire, not just the year, but this entire saga was YG and Nipsey Hussle releasing "Fuck Donald Trump."
Yeah, that was
because that's an epic anthem, and it should be played loudly anywhere that appears.
When I talk about people needing people to stay loud, what I'm really saying is that I am very grateful for the support that we receive from the real ones and from the people who are backing what we do. But I need more of you. We need more of you. We need more of you to join the chorus that is fighting fascism. And that's really my Christmas wish.
All right.
Yeah, we need more people. Yeah, so while you're meeting with your families, introduce them to our podcast and be like, these people know what's up.
Mm-hmm. I actually wrote a whole thing about how to communicate with your
MAGA uncle.
Yeah. No, I did. I wrote in my Substack, I wrote a beautiful thing about how to communicate with your brainwashed family members around the holidays. And I incorporated what I've learned from you, Jim, and Dr. Stephen Hassan, and my personal experiences. So I want everybody to be kind and soldier on.
All right.
Happy New Year soon.
Yeah.
Happy holidays.
We're coming to the end. High five. Are you awake?
Yeah.
Happy
holidays.
I'm
awake. I'm just thinking about like.
Always one more thing with high five. Always one more thing. Always one more thing.
We've been through hell, and there is a slight glimmer of hope.
Yeah.
And
I'm here for it. Man.
Behind Heidi, look. It's pink.
I'm here for it.
There you
go. There's a pink artificial glimmer of hope.
Hey, on that tree is Humphrey Bogart and James Cagney, and they are not messing around. Okay, so
that's right. Yeah. Back when gangsters were gangsters. Yeah.
I brought reinforcements.
All
right, you guys. Love you. Have a beautiful
happy
holiday.
Hanukkah.
Yeah.
Merry Christmas. All that good.
To all a good night.